And we are live. What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Is this our last Wednesday? No, we're in the middle of the month. We still have another two Wednesdays? Well, at least one Wednesday, maybe 2 Wednesdays left. I hope everyone's doing great. Initially, the plan today was that we were going to start building the Voron 2.4. FedEx had showed it as being delivered, or as showing up as being delivered yesterday. And then it got held up in Utah. And I thought, okay, well, maybe if I push the scheduling of the stream back, it'll show up early in the morning today, but it's still in Utah. So I don't know if FedEx lost it at a facility or what's going on, but there's been no updates in 2 days. So I figured that's okay. We'll take the opportunity to sort of just do a hangout and chill stream. It's been a pretty long week so far. I normally have Saturday's video done by the previous Sunday. Like, that's my, if Sunday night has hit and next Saturday's video is not done, I'm sort of in panic mode. And the idea I had for a video that I was pretty deep in hit a roadblock. And so I had to completely scrap it, or at least put it off to the side and start completely anew. So I think Monday I was up, Sunday night to Monday at 3 in the morning trying to finish or make some progress in the video. So that in combination with Baby Jack, I'm a little bit tired, but I've got coffee. It's going to be a fun stream. We're going to be playing around with the AnkerMake M5, which I've probably had for 3-ish weeks now. I've done some printing on it. I don't know where the tests are right now. I thought they were on the ground next to it. Done some testing on it. They did an update for the speed on it. So using their slicer, now you can set the acceleration to 5K, which is quite a bit higher than what it was at initially. I also got an email from them last night saying that they just updated the failure detection with the camera for first layer detection and spaghetti detection, but it's in a rolling update. And I checked my firmware version this morning to see if there was an update, and there wasn't. So unfortunately, we can't test that today. So we'll get this thing printing quickly. We can take a look at as much of it as anybody wants, and then probably get a print going on the P1P and just talk and look at a few other things that have come in or that I've ordered. So how's everybody doing? There's a lot of people in chat. Matt's here, Liz is in the house. I made it hanging out with Wi-Fi. Let's see, Mayhem, Steve's in the house. Hi, Steve. Zombie's here. We've got our handy zombie. Every time I see zombie, like, I just think Polymaker. We've got our Christmas, like, I think the last of our Christmas special Polymaker filament. I know I used up, I think, the red one recently. I think this might be the rest of it. It's the green. We got a little bit of green left. Let's see. Nice is in the house. William's here. Gary's here. Luke's here. Skydown's here. Kenneth's here. Moji 3D and Ron is here. Yeah, so we are going to be hanging out. I might actually even sit a little bit today, which I never do on stream. It's going to be one of those kind of streams. But yeah, the first thing we'll do is we'll get something downloaded or we'll get the slicer downloaded, because I have it currently downloaded on my Mac, not on the Windows streaming computer. Take a look at that. Probably start off with just a speed benching and see how that does. I'm trying to think, is there anything, I'm going to be doing a full video on this, and I know it's not really a new printer. It's been out since at least last year. If there are any specific questions anyone has, though, feel free to ask and we can take a look at certain things. For anyone that wants to know my initial impressions, which honestly I think is a lot of what my review is going to be like, build quality on this printer is absolutely incredible. Like, it's probably the most well-built i3 style printer I've ever received, and I would say by a long shot. Like, it is incredibly rigid. The bottom is a singular piece that's, I think it's die cast. I mean, it is just, this thing is insanely heavy for an i3 printer, like really quite overkill. All of the wires are routed from inside of these channels. There's basically 2 USB-C cables that go down and connect to 2 USB ports underneath the printer. We've got a single USB port going with all of the toolhead cables. It's direct drive. The filament runout sensor is in this box thing right here, which has a status LED, which we'll look at shortly. The touchscreen is mounted onto the frame, which is really weird. Let's go like this really quick. Let's go side cam. Oh, you still have your gold? Yeah, I have the Easter ones all still wrapped up. Careful if you sit, you may fall asleep. That's right. I won't do that. Yeah, I still have the Easter Polymaker filament. Waiting for something special for that. So kind of very interesting. Like the design is I mean, it's an i3, right? So I can't say the design is quite original because there's nothing, I guess, very original about that. But as far as the overall looks of things, they didn't try to copy, in my opinion, anybody. You've got this touchscreen interface that's attached to the gantry, which is a weird decision, but in all honesty, because it's on the Z and the Z at most is doing a bit of Z hopping, I don't think having it here, other than it maybe being a weird spot, is that bad of a deal. The touchscreen is quite responsive. It's actually one of the, I mean, let's see, you got local storage. I wonder if they have the speed benchy on here. Holy cow, PF Dennis. Thank you very much for the 10. We gotta do a, let's do like a little confetti and air horn. Thank you very much. Thank you to PF for 10 gifted memberships. It looks like Edwin got one, Collie got one, Steve Knobs, Mr. Rogers, Bjorn, Mr. Rogers again? No, it says it twice. Okay, it's saying things twice. It's gonna be confusing for me. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support, man. Let me turn off this and this. So the screen's nice. It's got local storage and it's got a USB-C port on top here, which is kind of weird. Like, I think that's the weirdest aspect of it because you'd be sticking your flash drive into the top, and it's a USB-C flash drive. I only have one of those. Most of my flash drives are still just standard USB-A or like, 2.0 or 3.0, not C. But that's kind of neat. Really, I think my biggest gripes with the machine are threefold. One is that it's using roller wheels. The roller wheels on, let me see. Let's turn this off for a sec. My buddy has two of these. He really likes them. I think the quality goes down with the speed, but they are reliable. Yeah, I know that Uncle Jesse got one really early, and he's been using his, he says, really consistently and reliably for all of his Etsy orders and stuff like that. So, it's I've heard both things. I've heard from people that really love them, and people that don't. I mean, I think for people that have been in 3D printing for a long time, you look at it and you're like, man, that seems pricey for what it is hardware-wise, and I kind of tend to agree. But yeah, so you've got roller wheels on the back. Zombie's saying, how do you tension the V-wheels? There's a eccentric nut on the bottom one, so I mean, I guess the same as you would normally tension them. I think you've asked before about method of tensioning, and I don't have a concrete method. Basically, when I'm tensioning V-wheels, my goal is that I usually grab the gantry and I don't want any play in it. I always try to get the wheels where they're tight against the aluminum, but not too tight. So no wobble, but no more than what's required to remove the wobble. Because usually I think are they palm? I think they're usually palm, most of them. There's polycarb ones, but I don't think that's very common for 3D printing wheels. They will wear down very, very quickly. Also, the channels are a little bit different. So the channels, let me see if we can, I don't know how well this will show up actually. The channels aren't as sharp as I'm used to seeing. So I always get confused between T-slot and V-slot. But these channels, I don't know if they're custom or what exactly they are, but they don't feel as sharp as the extrusions I'm used to seeing on 3D printers. For the bed also, there is, on the bed, it's got dual belt driven system. So it is also, if I'm not mistaken, V-wheels as well. But they're different. Like the way that they have it ran, I don't know how well, again, I can show this. Maybe if I turn off autofocus, give me 1 second. Yeah, I mean, I will say that again, at this price point, which is, it's $7.99, I would love all linear rails. I would also like the price to be less. There's, but yeah, they have custom channels down here. I don't know how well you can see that, but they're not your normal extrusions, especially down here. These are looks like, I don't know, custom machine, and they're much smoother than I'm used to seeing again on the extrusion. So I believe the motor is right here, and it's got basically a shaft coming out both ends of it, and so it's being pulled on both sides. But they claim that's part of how they're able to make the bed go so quickly and also maintain its rigidity. So there's that. But yeah, I guess the main thing I was talking about was the things that are my gripes. And the things that are my gripes are, I wish there wasn't roller wheels. I wish it had dual linear rails and just linear rails all around. I also, even more of a gripe is the fact that the hot end is not all metal. It's a PTFE lined hot end. So here's a, they give you a spare of the hot end. So here is what the hot end looks like. And I just don't understand why, you know, in 2023, we're still using PTFE lined hot ends when the all metal hot ends have gotten really good. There used to be the argument that they're better for PLAs or TPUs. I have had really good luck with all metal hot ends printing both of those filaments for a very long time. So I don't think that argument still stands. So let's see if I go here. This heatsink actually, or this heater block, let's take off the sock on it. It looks very, very similar to what ships in the, in the SnapMaker J1 that I just reviewed. I haven't ripped apart the hot ends from the SnapMaker J1, but I'm almost tempted to just buy one of their replacement hot ends and see if it's the same setup. Like the heatsink looks near identical, the hot end looks near identical, or the heater block. It's not quite a full-sized Volcano, but it's definitely a larger heater block. Like if you look at the nozzles, these are definitely longer than your V6, and I think just slightly shorter. Maybe very close. They might actually be full Volcano length. It's been a while. I've been looking at like the Creality ones and a lot of different versions. I can't actually remember what the like OEM E3D Volcano nozzles look like. But hey, what's up, Llama? Hey, DJ. Hey, Nuno's in the house. So yeah, my biggest things are I wish that it had all linear rails and an all metal hot end, and that it wasn't $7.99. It's been on sale for at least $100 less for quite a while. I've just been seeing it consistently on sale. But honestly, like if they somehow had this thing at, like if this thing was at $4.99, right? Let's just hear me out. $300 less with all linear rails and the all metal hot end, I think that it could be competitive. I really do. I just think that, and honestly, even if this had come out, like it just came out on Kickstarter last year, like right around the time the X1 was launched or announced on Kickstarter, if this had come out 12 months prior, I think that it would be a way different conversation and sort of different tone describing it. There are, like, the manufacturing process they have on this is really nice. They did a really good job, and it's got powder coated PEI, so you've got your powder coated PEI bed. I do wish that it had there's no there's no screw heads on the back or like any sort of registration marks, which I find kind of annoying. Printers didn't ever used to have that, but after using the Prusa with their little bolts marks, it's really nice just having the little tabs on the end here to sort of slide things into place. In addition, you get a pretty crazy booklet. Like, this is pretty intimidating. I mean, it's in different languages and stuff, but man, that is a lot of paper. They give you a ton of nozzles. So you've got, I mean, we just showed this off, right? But you've got spares, you've got 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. So you've got tons of nozzles. Replacement hot end. They also give you an extra powder coated bed completely. So like you're pretty damn well set for, if you need more beds than dual-sided PEI and a spare dual-sided PEI, like you've really been doing something wrong, right? And then you've got this pretty sweet little toolkit. If I can figure out how to open this up. There we go. Really nice little toolkit. It's got like, I mean, quite like swappable bits. It's nice. But again, it's $7.99. So Alien, thank you. Thanks for 8 months. Cheers. Thanks for everything you do. Absolutely. Thank you all for coming back every single week and watching me talk about 3D printers. I really enjoy it. So, let's see. Happy to see you looking at this one. I saw a Linus Tech Tip video a while back and wanted someone more knowledgeable about 3D printers to take a look. Yeah, I've been interested in a while actually in just seeing what it's all about. And the reason why this took so long was that initially when they reached out, hey, Zombie, thank you very much for, yeah, Spring Steel PEI. Yep. Thank you for the $1.49 and the banana. And Pi, 12 months, and Pi's back in the house. We haven't seen Pi in a couple weeks. We're doing some confetti and we're doing air horns all around. Thank you very much for 1 year. So part of the reason why, the main reason why we haven't seen this printer out on the channel was they reached out to me, and I talked about this in the Discord publicly, I believe, when it first happened. They contacted me, I think last year, about reviewing one of these units, and I said, sure, I'm happy to take a look at it. But then they had a bunch of requirements. The requirements were like, you can't compare it to other printers, you need to focus on these aspects of it, and we want to see the review before it goes live. And I said, hell no. I said, no way. Like, my rules, I don't have, like, I know that Teaching Tech and Tom have like a cutout, or not cutout, but like a hard paper, these are the rules for reviews. I don't have that, but my rules are this. I have full control over a review. If you're sending a printer, there is no guarantees. I will do my best to troubleshoot and reach out if I have issues to get answers, because I think that's useful how a company responds to an issue, especially, I mean, again, nobody's perfect. Even if a company makes 100 printers and they're really good at making printers, there's always a chance that I get one that isn't working perfectly. And so I always try to give companies a chance to fix it. But the rules about what I can cover, the seeing a video before it goes live, they basically had stated, and they're not the only ones that have stated stuff like this before, but I never agreed to it, that, oh, we don't want to change it, we just want to check it for like technical correctness, essentially, is kind of what they do. And I stood my ground. I said, you know, every company that I have ever reviewed something for has had the same terms where I have full control. You don't get to see it. To me, that states either lack in confidence of product or lack in trust in me and my ability to perform a review on something. And so, yeah, basically that happened twice with them, and I was like, all right, I'm over it. I'm not going to test the AnkerMake M5. Maybe I'll buy one at some point and give it a go. Well, then finally they reached out probably 2 months ago now, and we're like, hey, we're fine with everything. Do what you want to do. We're just going to send it. So, yeah, they're not the, they're definitely not the only company. There's been a handful in the past that have done sort of similar things, and either they don't get a review on the channel, or they have to agree to have no control over it. I mean, again, to me, like, if you want control over something like that, pay for someone to make a sponsored video. That's not a review. Pay someone to cover the features, make an advertisement on your printer, that's fine, but that's not a review. And I told them straight up that the viewers on my channel watch the videos because they want to see what my thoughts are on it. They don't want, like, you know, like, yes, I cover the specs at every printer review because I think it's important, even if you can read it on the page itself, seeing it, going over it again, I think it's important, but they want to see what the experience is like and my thoughts on it, not just a ta-da, you know, standing next to it. Anyways, rant over. I'm glad that they came around and basically said, hey, whatever, do what you want to do, it is what it is. So let's start off by getting their slicer downloaded. So they're using basically a forked version of Cura is what their slicer is. They have told me that they are going to be fully transitioning over to a forked version of Prusa slicer at some point. I don't have information about when it's going to be available. I think they said that if you're in their Discord, you can either beta test it or there's some feedback from beta testers on it, which I'm excited about because I prefer Prusa slicer over a forked version of Cura. But we're going to download what they currently have, test out the fast profile, and then we'll rant some more and check out some other cool stuff. So let me go ahead and screen share here. There we go. All right. It's super common in the PC. Yeah, I think it's common in a lot of spaces, honestly. Just in the 3D, the cool thing is, like, so I'm in a beta for Windows. Wait, do we want beta? I guess it's all beta. I'm in a Discord with quite a few other content creators in the 3D printing space, and they were all getting emails from Anker around the same time, and all of us stood our ground as far as like, hey, no, we're not gonna agree to these terms. So it's cool to see. I think that, again, in other spaces it might fly, but the 3D printing space and content creators, like, are like, we all. Wait, why don't we see? Why is my video not here anymore? There we are. Hello. Everybody stood their ground, which I think is really awesome. All right. Let's see. I think I have to log into an account, maybe? With my email. Let's see. Slicer, preview and AI, CG code files at a glance, watch prints in real time, and control. Okay, cool. Okay, so do we have? Yeah, I do have to log in. I don't know. Not that my email is secret, it's all public, but let me just, well, I don't really know what the password is when I set this up. Let's see, search my region, United States. Save, sign in. Nope, incorrect password. Oh God. There we go, I got it. Let's see. I'm ranting my, you can't change my mind about this version of Ender anyway. Yeah, again, I think that the Orca Slicer, so Orca Slicer does have a profile for this. I can't remember if I tested it or not, but they made it sound like to me to use their latest speed update, you have to use their slicer. I know that if you want to use the AI detection, which I don't think, again, the latest update is in my firmware version, you can slice in at least Prusa slicer possibly, and then run it through their slicer and it gets that failure detection. But I want to run it through, like, I'm trying to do all of it with their slicer, and I'll probably test out Orca a little bit for the sake of the review. The exception to that is, like, when I reviewed the Snapmaker J1, I hardly used their slicer, which was also a fork of Cura, but like a way different fork. Not that I like this slicer either. I've kind of grown out of Cura. Not that Cura doesn't have the capabilities that I want. It just, I don't know. It doesn't run as well on Mac, and I have sort of just gotten really used to using either Bamboo Studio Orca Slicer or some variant of Prusa Slicer. So, have you seen Nathan's latest video addressing being paid by Creality in the best comical way? I saw the beginning of him comparing the P1P and the K1, where he had like the blue flash drive and red or blue memory card and red, and that was pretty funny. I mean, that was a really cool skit. I like that. So okay, so let's try really quick here to do, we have to have a benchy. Let's see. We have to do a benchy just because, that doesn't seem like that was what I wanted to do, was it? 3D benchy. We have to do a benchy because it should be able to do a really quick benchy, and I want to see how that goes. Okay, so it's my understanding that in order to use it, we need to go to fast mode. Okay, so 0.25 layer height. Let's see what this does. Let's just not change anything and see what happens. Okay, so this is a 30-minute benchy. I swore that they had a faster benchy that you were able to play around with. Okay, let's check out one more thing here. Let's see if we go to expert and we go to speed. Okay, so these don't have 5K acceleration. Let me, 1 second here. Let me see if I can figure out how to do it. They sent me some brief instructions on how to get it to perform at their speeds that they're claiming. And I'd like to do that really quick if I can. AnkerMake. Okay. Regarding the fast mode, creating the perimeter setting for the speed finder, tell me that the feature we've had a lot. Okay, so they showed just going to fast and travels. Oh, travel speed and print speed. Okay, so I lied. The instructions that I were sent don't really provide much. AnkerMake blog. I wonder if they provided the benchy sliced file in their blog. Let's see. I really want to print, because they show off a really fast benchy. I mean, not that 30 minutes isn't a fast benchy, but this one's faster. This is a 17-minute benchy. That's what I'm trying to get to. So this looks like the one that we've got. Yeah, I don't know if they release it or if they show it. I mean, we can still try the 30-minute benchy. I think that's pretty fast, but it says I can do 5K. So let's do. I can't. Oh, here we go. Okay, so let's see if let's up this all. Let's just go 5K, 5K travel, 5K infill. Okay, let's see what that does. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm doing. I just raised the acceleration. Don't they have a benchy in their pre-sliced files? I think they do, but I don't. Okay, so now we got down to 26 minutes. We shaved off 4 minutes. They do have a benchy, but I don't think it's sliced. I don't think it's fast sliced. Well, let's plug this in before I waste any more time. I did see a benchy, but yeah, I don't think it's sliced that way. Not going to try the 2.5-minute benchy. Oh God, no. I'll leave Albert to that crazy stuff. Wednesdays are supposed to be no meetings days, which means they're always open for drive-by meetings. Oh no. Okay, yeah, it's a 30-minute benchy. Yeah, so not nearly as cool as what I want. Local, AnkerMake. You can't see over my big head, can you? Nope. Let's see, mobile phone, mobile shovel. Oh, shoot. Yeah, so there's a 41-minute benchy. That's not at all what we want. Soap, brush, Autodesk, storage box. No, so that's not what we want. I mean, I figured out how to get it down to 26 minutes and 6 seconds, which I get is not, does the AI file take any more time? I kind of doubt it. Let's just try this. I mean, a 26-minute benchy on a bed slinger is pretty damn fast, or pretty fast at least. And unless there's anywhere else we can see. Print speed, infill 250, wall speed 250. I mean, we can try to bump this ever so slightly to 250. Outer wall speed. I want to keep the outer wall speed as is. Initial layer speed, we can try to bump that. Let's do like a 70. All of our accelerations at 5K. Top and bottom speed. We can raise it ever so slightly. Let's just run with it. I doubt that shaved off much. We're at 25 minutes and 49 seconds. Let's just try this. So it does automatically detect any AnkerMake printers. It's cloud as well. I think you can do you can definitely do local over a flash drive. I can't remember if you can do local wireless transfer or if it's through the cloud. I don't remember. But it's similar to Bamboo in the sense that like the first thing you do when you set it up is you link it to their app. So it has, again, any printers in your network, and we'll hit print, allow, and oh, I thought it crashed. Did it crash? No, it's just changing. Yeah, so the camera quality, hello, is definitely not as, you can't really see that because my face is in the way. Video quality is definitely not as good as the Bamboo printers. Maybe the P1P, because the P1P has a not as good of a camera. But like this thing can create time lapses, but in my opinion, it's more for failure detection. Like it's just not very pretty of a camera. I mean, still nice though, right? Like nice enough to be able to check for failures. So I would rather have a camera than no camera if given the option, but certainly not really pretty. Hey, Jesse's in the house. AnkerMake, what's up? I was literally just talking about you. As I said, someone had mentioned that they have a buddy that has two of them and they print really well. And I said, yeah, Uncle Jesse mentioned not long ago that you had been using yours for some Etsy orders and it was quite reliable. So I think I was just saying that like, if this printer had come out a year before it came out, I think it would have done much better, or would do much better. Also, I think that if they, like, I wish that instead of roller wheels, they had a linear rail on X, like X, Y, and Z, all axes. I wish that they had an all metal hot end by default instead of PTFE line. They don't offer an all metal variant. I asked them because I've seen discussions about custom making them, and people talking about Anker potentially making one, and I asked, and I got sort of a like maybe answer. So I don't feel confident in saying it's coming because the answer I got was like, eh. And I wish that the price was less. I know that it's like $100 less on sale now, but still, when you're comparing $699 versus $699, that is a hard comparison to justify, unless, what would be the reasoning? Like, they both would not be enclosed. I can't think of, yeah, I can't really think of any reason. The price just has to come down to make it competitive in today's market. It just shifted so quick. Yeah, to me, I think that give this thing an all metal hot end and $500, and you'll probably sell a lot more of them. Give it an all metal hot end, make it $500, and add linear rails instead of V-rollers. I think you'll sell quite a few of them, actually. Again, especially if they're reliable, and it sounds like for general 3D printing, even to relatively quick 3D printing, that they're pretty reliable. So let's go, let's take a look at the starting sequence. It does tram the bed every single print, which is nice. So it goes to the back. Like it trams the pillars. And it uses the nozzle to probe. So it starts off by heating up the nozzle and kind of bouncing it up and down. It is very loud too. I mean, that being said, for anyone that wants a fast printer that's quiet, I think those are two things that don't really go hand in hand. Like most people don't buy a sports car and want it to be super, super quiet. Yeah, it's loud as hell. The fans are just really, really loud. But in defense to that, like the X1 Carbon and the P1P are also very loud. The Chitty Tech that I was testing out is also super loud when it goes Super Saiyan mode. Hey, HVAC A to C, thank you very much for the $9.99. Keep up the good work. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the donation, and thank you for hanging out with me. I know that, again, the original plan was that we were going to be building a Voron today or starting a new one, but didn't happen, and we haven't done a chill stream in so long. Like I was mentioning that when we finished the Mercury 1.1, it was supposed to be a chill stream, but it ended up being a troubleshooting stream for hours. Like it was the most stressful stream ever because I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Is Z also V-wheels? Yes. Yes, it is. It's the same kind of setup where it's the same kind of setup where it's not extrusions. They sort of have like custom cutout aluminum profiles that are shaped for the V-wheel. So it's definitely a nicer setup than the typical extrusions, and I think that the wheels will do better with these. But yeah, it's roller wheels, man. It's roller wheels all around. All right, so fans are kicking in. This is still first layer. Yeah, it's wrapping up first layer, I think. Yeah, there we go. You won't be able to hear, the filter hides a lot of the sound, but again, it's definitely loud. Like, I would say the motion on this thing isn't that loud. Like the retractions are kind of loud and the fans are kind of loud. The motion's pretty quiet. I mean, compared to a lot of the other printers, because it's running on roller wheels, I guess that is the one benefit that I could think of, is that they're, other than being really inexpensive, they're quiet. Like the motion is just very, very quiet on this. I don't know if you saw, Jesse, but like they just updated the failure detection. There's a new firmware version that's, I don't have it yet. They said if I send them the serial number, they can push it, but like it's a rolling update, so it's going in waves. But the update is version 3.0.16, and it says that it's got first layer and spaghetti, and the way it works now is that it's comparing the images with the sliced layer, sort of in real time, and it takes 5 layers for it to detect something. So it wants to, like, it confirms first, like, this layer's got issues, check the next one against the slice. Still looks wrong, cool. So they do that. I think the 5-layer sort of redundancy is to hopefully remove some of those false triggers. I mean, I guess the downside is that you'll have to wait 5 layers for a failure, and if you have a big part, that could take a little while. But on the plus side, like, I think I would rather have less sensitive failure detection, that when it detects it correctly, even if it takes a little bit longer, than false triggers that are pausing my printer and sending me notifications all the time. So yeah, I don't know if I've disabled mine. I've hardly used the app. I've really hardly used the app. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it, man. It's funny, because again, I literally had just, your ears must have been ringing, because I just said, yeah, Uncle Jesse used his for Etsy orders quite a bit. I appreciate it, man. Have a great night. So yeah, this thing boogies. Turtle asked a question too. Is it bamboo loud? Yeah, so I would definitely say it's bamboo loud. Just a different type of noise. The main sounds I'm hearing again are like the retraction. Let me see if I can turn off the audio filter for you guys for a second. I'll turn it right back on because it's not going to be fun. Let me see here. If I go to filters and I go to, nope, that's not right. Desktop audio is what we're using, right? I think? No, this is what we're using. When we go to filters. Okay, so we're using our noise. Someone remind me. How do I turn it off? There we go. Does it sound different now? This is, I think, filters off. I'm pretty sure filters off. Let me know if it sounds different. I don't know if I need to click apply or not, but I think it instantly went off. Okay. Yeah, so the main sounds that this printer has, motion a little bit, but the loudest aspects of it are retraction is very loud, which I'm assuming is due to the acceleration and like the speed it's retracting at. You can probably make that less, but at this speed and this retraction, it's definitely loud. And then the fans are just brutally loud. It's a combination of the fans on the actual tool head, as well as, I think it's the fans, is it under the printer as well? It might be under the printer as well, but yeah, it's loud. Definitely loud. I don't think these Gates belts are fake. I really don't. So yeah, let me put the filter back on. It's good to know how to turn it off though, because there's been times where I've wanted you guys to hear things, like, I don't know, and you haven't been able to. So while this is going, what else do we want to do? Let's get, we are going to be reprinting out ERCF parts. I'm not happy with the initial ones. So I'm going to load up Polymaker Pop Pink into this P1P. And we'll get the calibration print going. I'm gonna do things by the book this time. I don't know if I did the calibration print on the previous batch, and because of how sort of fickle some of the parts have been, I want to give it the best chance of being successful. So we'll start off with just a simple print. This will be for the accent colors. The primary colors will likely be just Polymaker Black ASA, but we'll start off with this Pop Pink because it's fun. And I'm gonna probably run the calibration with both just to make sure that there's no different tweaks or adjustments that need to be made for this color versus the other color. Hey, what's up, John? Gates has a line they produce in China. The Bowden coupler is moving up and down. Bowden coupler is moving up and down. Okay, before I screw up this entire roll of beautiful filament, let me get this loaded. I wonder if I'm assuming there's supposed to be a clip that goes there. I'm surprised that I don't see it. But yeah, we should probably do that. Okay, let me load Load this in. Yeah, good catch. The coupler is lifting up and down. Where is... So either they provided a retention clip and I lost the retention clip, or they didn't provide the retention clip. So I don't see any... That's odd. I don't actually know where I have spare retention clips right now. Usually just with hot ends. Let's see if there's any that came with the K1. Sometimes they ship with extras. No. No. I'll have to figure it out later on, but that's a good catch. I will install that. Yeah, I could print a clip too. Did you test the resume print function for this? I have not yet. Looking pretty good. I mean, not perfect, but considering all things considered, it's not looking bad. Zip ties are a great retention clip. This thing is also remote extruder. No, it's direct drive. Or yeah, so like this is just, I haven't ripped this open yet. But it's a filament runout sensor slash camera slash status LED. You can see it if I go like this. So yeah, it is a direct drive extruder. The tension arm is right here up top. Yeah, this big bulky guy here is just status LED, filament runout sensor, and no, camera's on that side. So yeah, just status LED. I wonder if there's... Yeah, there's 2 screw holes on the back. It looked like it would pop the faceplate off. Yeah, we can pop this off and see what's actually inside of it. Do that really quick. Actually, yeah, I think we can still do it. Even with the filament running through it, it looks like this top piece will pop off on its own. So let's not lose screws more than we've already lost. All right, there we go. I actually don't think I want to take it off right this second. Because now that I have a feeling that this is probably attached to the belt mechanism. Let's wait till after it's printed, and then if we want, we can take it off. I was thinking that this top piece would just pop off, but it seems like there must be another bolt that I'm not seeing somewhere. Hey, what's up, Dan? Dan the man in the house. Managed to catch a stream. How's it going? They added some bulky covers to hide everything and make it look less intimidating to new users. Yeah, I mean, it looks clean, right? Like, a lot of design elements are personal preference. Like, it's very bulky. Like, I think that it's too bulky for me. I would rather see everything going on. But I get it from, like, the sake of this looks like a clean product that you'd see on the shelf somewhere. Like, I understand that thought process. Hiding stepper motor. Yeah, that's a good point. Stepper motor is probably on this side then. It has to be on this side. Another Dan. Thank you very much for the 10 pounds, Dan. Cheers. Yeah, you're right. Extruder, stepper motor is very likely on this side of it as well. So this side's probably our tensioner, or is this stepper motor? I really don't know, guys. I'm not positive. It kind of looks like stepper motors right here. Inside here, I see what looks like the top and bottom of a stepper motor. So, okay, let's get this screw back on for a second, and let's get the calibration print going. So, if you guys want to see how that's going. Is it layer shift, or is that just a flat line? definitely looking stringy. Starting to look pretty stringy. Let me see, what was the temperature? PLA material. Oh wow. So yeah, this is sliced pretty hot. It's at 220, which is what I typically print at, but for a benchy like this with a hot end that's kind of higher flow, I don't think I would have gone to 220. That's probably contributing to a lot of that stringing. I also wonder if this clip, also not having the retention clip, could be playing could be part of that. I think it had it before. It must have fallen off just in kind of shuffling it around, or maybe I was screwing with that. I'm not really sure. Yeah, it does have dual Z and it does gantry level. It does gantry level before each print. They really built a 3D printer with V-wheels. To be fair, they built a V-wheel bed slinger probably in 2021 to 2022, and they just didn't launch it in time. I was just saying that, like, man, I wish, like, this printer with no V-wheels and all linear rails and a all-metal hot end at $500, I still think in today's market could sell really well. I absolutely do. It is built like a tank, and this thing has the ability to perform, but the fact that they released it when it did, that it's got roller wheels instead of, like, even in its current state, if you gave it an all-metal hot end and charged $500 instead of the $800 or $700 with a coupon, I think it could sell a lot better than it probably is selling right now. But man, like, when you're comparing, if you had $800 and you asked me what printer to buy, like how could I recommend this over something that's less expensive, that's much more capable, you know? So, my AnkerMake is my least favorite printer. It's fast, but there's no real control over it. Yeah, I did see somebody that converted this to a switch wire. That was pretty cool. I don't think I'm going to do any real mods to this thing. It's not really built for that. And aside from completely gutting it and using its bones, like, I just think I'd rather keep it as is and see what they release, if they release any official upgrades. The all-metal hot end is the biggest one I'd really like. I just think that for that price, at least, being able to print in a wider range of materials makes a lot of sense to me. So I feel like a lot of manufacturers, though, do that, where they make some decisions that make sense to me, and they make other decisions that make absolutely no sense. Okay, let's check out, so we'll go ERCF, bam. And let's go to test prints. Nope, that's not right. User mod, super slicer, showroom, filament center. Calibration. Okay, so let's print this out. Okay, this is not PLA. We just loaded ASA. So this is going to be a pink. I don't know if that's pink or purple. It looks kind of in between. And this is I'll just go generic ASA, confirm, cool, sync, yes, wait, what? That didn't do what it was supposed to do. That's weird. Okay. We want to print this with slot number 2, which is ASA. Textured PEI looks fine. We already have our ERCF settings here, so this should be correct. Look and verify it. 0.2.2. The one thing I'm curious, so here's one thing I'm curious about, and I know there's a few people in chat that have built ERCFs. I think that it says that it recommends a forced extrusion of 0.4. I think that most Voron stuff does, and I've never done that, but and I haven't really had an issue, but I'm wondering if in this case, it's much more of a requirement or recommended. Let me see here, ERCF manual. I'm sure we already have we already have a few copies of it downloaded, but it's all right. Yeah, so extrusion width recommending forced 0.4 millimeters. So I'm wondering, I know Nice has built one. I don't know if Scott's still in chat. Scott has built a couple of them. Are you guys following that? So like, are we going line width and setting everything to 0.4? If so, I will do that. In the past, with all Voron parts, I've just sort of left it default and it's been fine. But again, the ERCF, from everything that I've seen in the little bit of building we did, it's much more peculiar with tolerances than a lot of the printer parts I've done. Yeah, there was a layer shift or something. One line looks just awful. Okay, you use standard profile. Okay, so Nice is saying no, he didn't. And he just built his ERCF. Maybe just 0.4 for perimeters. I'm almost tempted. Okay, I have an idea. Let's print one. This is a quick part. So let's print one just like this, which is how I would normally print it. Let's print one with all 0.4 like it's recommended, and let's see how things sort of fit together. I think that's a good idea. Everything else should be right, which is 0.2, 40%, 4 and 5. So 0.2, 4, 5, 40%. Yeah, everything else should be fine. Let's try that. So let's slice plate. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. All right. Yeah, I've never done it before either. It's never been an issue, but I just want to compare this time. Since we're printing all the parts over again, let's try it. Actually print Voron parts with 5 walls and 30% infill. I do stick to their wall and infill count, although I think I've done 5 and 40% instead of 5 and 30%. Hey, Wayne, enjoy the Anchor. Thank you very much for the $10 donation. Enjoy the Anchor, no pun intended. I don't know why it didn't show. Oh, you know what? You must have gone through the description or through the chat, which is through PayPal. That's probably why I didn't see it as a super chat. Thank you very much. When this is done, we're going to get a retention clip and probably reprint this, because I'm curious to see how much of this is related to the retraction from the retention clip not being there. I've got to have retention clips somewhere. I think I got an AliExpress order in. I ordered a bunch of random stuff on AliExpress. Basically, it was early morning, and I was browsing. I was like, this looks neat, and so I got this, right? It's sort of like a V6/Dragon clone. I just saw, I saw it all over Ali, and I hadn't heard much about it, and the price looked good, and I was like, okay, I have quite a few builds that yeah, that's a hell of a whole line. I have quite a few builds, like the King Room KP3S. We're gonna be converting that to, we're gonna be upgrading it, the tool head and the extruder on it. And I didn't want to put a crazy hot end into it. So, let me see. Yeah, this is the Red Lizard. So this is the Red Lizard V6 K6. They have different variants of it. Like they have one that almost has a Revo style hot end, but this looks just like my Dragon that I'm running on my original V0, and I really like it. It's been a solid hot end / solid hot end. So I believe it came with plated copper nozzle, bimetal heat break. So we're going to be installing this on to the KP3S along with I think a Sherpa Micro to replace the BMG, or no, the Aero and the hot end that it comes with. So yeah, I've heard good things about these. Like I really have. Like, not that they're, you know, like there's better hot ends out there, absolutely, but for the price of, I think I paid $30-ish, give or take, for it, that they're solid. It didn't, so to be fair, I didn't realize when I purchased it that it didn't come with a thermistor or a heater cartridge, but I've got so many, I've bought in thermistors and heater cartridge in like 5 packs so many times over the years that I have plenty. So yeah, it looks solid, so we'll see. And I don't know that we're gonna be streaming that KP3S conversion because there's so many other things, but I will do a full video on it, just kind of showing it off in the end if we don't end up doing it on stream. But the reason why I pulled this out right now is I think there's probably a retention clip. Yeah, there's 2 retention clips in here, so we're just gonna steal one of these. Yeah, I was just late night AliExpress scrolling, which is never smart, and I just picked up a bunch of random stuff. Like we got this in. It's just a like PTFE cutter. I've always just used an X-Acto knife, but like, and there's jigs you can print out, but I was like, cool, it's like $1.20. I was like, sure, I could probably use that. And then I got a bunch of oh crap, dropped it. I got a bunch of these sort of what KP3S conversion are you doing? It's the snake oil conversion, not the snake oil Core XY, but the same guy, Chip. I'll show you guys really quick. It's pretty cool. There's been very little coverage on it. I just, I go like late night when I can't sleep, I go really deep into internet rabbit holes. So it's the snake oil XY3S. So this is the conversion. So it's got a, I believe it's a Sherpa. It might not be a Sherpa. Is that a, but it's again, like V6 hot end, better fan, BL touch, it gives you belt tensioners for X and Y, and then it has a bearing at the top. It looks pretty cool. Like Chip has made some very awesome mods. I'm trying to see if I can see a video. Oops. I have a BL Touch too that's been collecting dust forever. So, yeah. So belt tensioner. Uses a different kind of coupler. And the extruder. So yeah, direct. So we're going Sherpa Mini with a, you know, essentially Dragon style hot end and a BL Touch, and then we're gonna clipper it. Do the dual MGN9 rail mod. I don't know if I can do that with this. I probably can. I don't think that this affects, let me go back to the image. I don't think that this affects this area very much, so we might be able to do that. If you want to shoot me that link, Zombie, I can see what rails I need to order, and I can order them as well. When you're assembling the PTFE collet, you need to put the collet together, then pouch it in place. When you're assembling the PTFE collet, you need to put the collet together, then pouch it in place. You're saying put the retention clip in and then push the PTFE tube in? Did you see the extended Core XY thing that Snake Oil is doing? It's neat. Yes. I think I did. I'm pretty sure that you're talking about the mod for the Core XY that he has. I think it's, if you look down here, Core XY IDEX and extended Core XY kinematics. Added for extended Core XY kinematics, IDEX variant. Yeah, the Snake Oil is a really cool printer. I've followed Chip's work, at least on Twitter and on Reddit, not Reddit, on GitHub for a while. Be careful on tolerances for the magnetic gates. They're tricky. Oh, I think nice. You're talking about the ERCF then. I'm also getting ready to convert my KP3S to Snake Oil. Are you going to stream? I wasn't going to. So like I would love to stream it. I really would. But we're starting the 2.4. We're starting the 2.4 build next Wednesday, and I imagine that's going to be like a month and a half of building if we're doing one stream a week, which is like really all I think I can commit to with work and a video a week on the main channel. And then as soon as that's done, oh, the P1P is heated up. As soon as that's done, depending on when it releases, me and Steve are going to be doing the VZBot build, which will probably be another month and a half. So like it's really tough. I want to do the build now, and every time I try to sort of set we'll do it after this, and something else comes up, it gets pushed further back, which is kind of where we've been at with the ERCF for a year now. So we'll see, but I'm thinking I'll probably do the build on my own and then just make a video covering it, but we'll see. If there is enough interest, maybe we'll do it on stream. I don't know. Let's see. Back to work for me. Hey, thanks for stopping by, John. I didn't like the V wheels for fast printing. I don't, at least it's on the Z axis. Like, I mean, the Z isn't going to be traveling nearly as fast other than for Z hops, I guess. I was planning on keeping the roller wheels, but if you've got a recommended mod for it and it's not going to interfere with the snake oil upgrade for it, then I might end up doing it. I'll probably just order some AliExpress rails and some like pretty inexpensive stuff. I have two red lizards and they haven't given me issues. Do use the longer screws to help added support to the heater block. Yep. I think that I have a feeling, so I was gonna show that. Something tells me, because I think like with the whole patent stuff with Slice, so there are, let's zoom in on this. So there are two screw holes right here, or two holes for a screw. Oh, come on. Let's do auto. One sec. I'm struggling here. There we go. Screw hole here and screw hole here. And if you have long screws, that isn't. Why are we not? What is happening? Basically, you can drive them into the threads on the heatsink, which reinforces it. And I think the reason why something tells me the reason that they don't ship it like that is because of Slice and not wanting to, like, it's their way of trying to not infringe on the patent. They're like, no, like those holes are just there, but they totally give you the screws to set it up like that. I don't know what's happening. I apologize. Just the, anyways. It's a rigidity issue. Give it a look over. I'd watch the whole thing. 102 watching, only 45 likes. Oh man, yeah. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. Our goal is always 100. If we can hit 100, it's awesome. So let's take a look at this. This doesn't look good. Again, I think that a big part of it is actually really, oh, that is really stuck. Wow. I think that, well, I guess aside from the, this line, I don't know what the heck happened there. That looks pretty bad. But aside from that and some stringies on top, it's not terrible for a 20, does it say the total? 20, so it's 29 minutes, time saved 3 minutes. What does that mean, time saved? I don't know. I think that counts part of the initial calibration though as well. But yeah, so the main issues are towards the corner here, towards the front, and that line. But I think that if we attach the retention clip and just hit rerun, it's going to look quite a bit better. I might be incorrect, but I want to test that theory. So we'll do other stuff also in the meantime. We're not going to just watch the Benchy print over and over again. But let's add the retention clip. This one's not pre-sliced. You and Steve are just the two wait, you and Steve are just last two YouTubers I watched. Rest is insufferable. I think what you're saying is that you like watching mine and Steve's streams. And I appreciate that. Steve is awesome. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and get this clip in place so that way it's not shifting around. Okay. Seems much better. And we're gonna quite literally just hit reprint, yes. Okay, so that's going. P1P is printing. Let's zoom in a little bit more on this though. What other stuff do I want to do? Ooh, I know what we can do. So the the printed parts for the 2.4 are from Print It Forward. So Print It Forward started commercial Print It Forward, which I think cost a little bit more, but it's faster, I mean, is my understanding, and I don't know, I have to look and see. But basically, Fabrico and LDO had agreed to sponsor the 2.4 build last year, but we got busy with the Mercury 1.1 and some other stuff, and so it came through, and the W. Sebastian is the person that printed these parts out, and he's in the Print It Forward program. I think he's one of the bigger. Let me make sure I don't have my address. I guess it is right there. That's it. And these parts look awesome. So we gotta take a quick look at these. Okay. I was like, I think that's what Mike's saying. I was like, there's a little bit of a typo. So we've got Voron sticker. But yeah, I was looking. So for one, because the Vorons I've built so far have been 3 V0s and a switch wire, I just didn't realize how many printed parts there were for the 2.4. So like these parts showed up and I'm like, oh my God, it's a lot. It's a lot of parts. So I got to choose the colors. I went with black and red. I mean, honestly, just like the Cyborg 0.2 that we recently built, all the other Vorons I've done have like custom frames or like different frames and frame colors, and I wanted just a clean black and red sort of original color scheme, and they look absolutely gorgeous. Like, we need to just look at these printed parts. Let's see if I can show them in the light. Let's see here. They are super clean. I mean, I think he said he's done well over 100 Print It Forward builds, and the parts just look so nice. So I'm very excited. The only parts that I still need to print are the Nevermore, because the LDO build comes with Nevermore, as well as the clicky mod. We're going to be doing Voron tap afterwards, but for the sake of the actual build, we're going to build it stock, which it comes with a clicky probe and Nevermore. So here's some. I mean, these are pretty big parts. Like, this is not a small part. I didn't even realize that the 2.4. There's a little bit of blobbing down here on the very. Oops, where are we at? On the very corner right here, a tiny bit, but I mean, it's still really clean looking parts. Yeah, I think that Fabrico is the only place doing it as well. I don't know who I saw talking about it recently. I don't know if it was oh, why is his name slipping my mind? Timit, I think it was Timit that commented on Twitter saying something about that. But yeah, the parts look incredible. I'm super excited. I reached out right away to ask what ABS was used, because again, I need to print out the Nevermore parts. And so for the red, it's a red from 3D Print Life. It's called Eco-Friendly ABS. We'll open it up and take a look at it. So I ordered a spool of this, and then the ABS was the black ABS, which isn't as big of a deal because it's, I think, easier to color match a black ABS than a different color, is Sunlu ABS. And so I did order a spool of that as well, just to have, because I just always do that when I'm doing a printer build. I like to have a spool of filament. So we'll open it up. This is what it looks like. It's a nice red. It's a little bit fluorescent, I would say. Let's crack it open. Hey, Sam Prentice is in the house. What's going on, buddy? Nevermore. Oh, Nevermore doesn't have accent pieces? No, it totally does. Or maybe I'm thinking of 24/7 printing. Albert, I know on his 2.4, he definitely did accent pieces, but maybe they weren't part of it and he just sort of added them after. Hey, Sam, did you get any update on your K1 hot end when you're getting a replacement? So here's the red. It's a nice red. It's again a little bit fluorescent, But I think that the lighting also, I'm looking at what I'm seeing on screen on camera and what I'm seeing in front of me. It's more orangey on camera. It's more red in front of me. So I don't know how good of a representation this is. But yeah, this is like the Voron, their Voron official red. So, and it's made in the USA, which is pretty cool. I hadn't heard of this company before, but once, like I said, once I was told the filament, I just went out and grabbed a roll of it so that way I can print out the mods down the road. Yeah, it's the Rev C LDO kit. Fabrico had the Rev B available for a little bit of time, but because it sort of took us a long time to move forward with this, we just decided to wait for the Rev C. So the main differences that I understand from the Rev C are it comes with a clipper screen, a Voron Revo, and I don't know if the Nevermore or Clicky are new, but I think those are the two things: is Voron Revo and the touchscreen, the clipper screen. I don't know. Does anybody know? Because I know that the Voron 0.2 S1, the X-axis is a high wind rail. I don't know if the Rev C has a high wind rail for the X on the 2.4. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I'm excited. So the game plan is, as long as, knock on wood, FedEx didn't lose my package in Utah, we'll start building this next week. And that's the primary focus of what we'll be doing for, that's the primary focus of what we'll be doing for a couple of weeks here. I actually specifically wanted the Revo. I really like the Revo system, and also now that they've got, I've purchased a couple of the Obsidian variants, and also they're sending a couple of the high flow. I'm excited to play around with them a bit more. Knock on wood quick. Obviously for a flagship printer, they need to make sure is Ace for everyone. Oh, next month. Hey dude, they're telling me they have found bugs. The printer isn't right. They think the nozzle was damaged due to error with a big clashing with the nozzle. Yeah, so last week we finished up the Voron 2.4 build, and the K1's on the ground right here. So we took it up and ran a print on it. And when I got this, I printed a few prints with their like high flow filament, and it worked quite well. And then I switched over to regular filament, and it worked okay. And then all of a sudden, like maybe 5 prints in, it started heavily under extruding. And I tried PLA, ABS, playing around with a couple different things, and it's just not working. The extrusion is just bad. And so I thought it was heat creep related. We took apart the tool head on last week's stream a bit and saw that the heatsink fan is sort of wedged behind a PCB, and it's pulling air from the sides instead of directly from the front of it. But after I reached out to Creality, they are under the assumption that it's not related to heat, and it's actually related to the extruder and a design issue. So I know that Nathan showed an issue with his where he actually put like a piece of string or some sort of like a rubber band around the extruder arm to hold tension onto the filament. I don't know if it's the exact same issue, but they told me that they've revised the extruder, and it's now has more extrusion force, like a pretty significant more extrusion force, and that they're supposed to be sending it out this week. So we'll see. I'll install it, hope for the best. That's the only issue I've seen so far, but I've only gotten to do so much testing on it because the extrusion, there's been the extrusion issues after just a few prints with it. So yeah, the clogging, I don't know if it's clogging though. Like, it seems like a partial clog, which is why I was kind of thinking maybe it was heat creep. But I'm almost wondering if it's not that and it's related to the extruder tension. Like, I don't know if at quick speeds it's just sort of vibrating loose and not holding the tension. They sort of went with like the LGX style latch on it instead of a tension knob. And I'm just wondering if whatever mechanism they're using to lock it in those positions, it just isn't isn't holding enough tension. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I got a brief explanation, but my contact isn't the engineer, and so you can kind of tell that she was sort of translating the information that she had received from that department, and it didn't entirely make sense to me. But the main idea of it was that there wasn't enough extrusion force, and I don't know again whether that's a design of the actual gear system or if it's simply down to that latch mechanism. So we'll see. I think it's the click motor. I was getting black crud. Interesting. Someone was telling me, did you look NeoStream yesterday? I didn't look at NeoStream yesterday, but I did see that he posted his poor V0.2 fell. He was, for anyone that didn't see it, he had finished the rat rig, the V-Core, like I think the 200mm one. And so he was doing like a recap print and chill stream like this, which I don't know what it is about print and chill streams, but like things always go not chill on print and chill streams. But it seems like when he was moving it, the like spool holder or spool hooked the V0.2 that he just finished a couple weeks ago, and it fell like onto its face, like off of his workbench. And I think that it broke his obsidian nozzle. It cracked a few printed parts, and I think he said it tweaked his X extrusion and his bed. I really feel for him, like especially because we just finished RV02.2 last week, and if that happened to me, it would definitely be a bit of a stab in the heart. Interesting. They asked me to remove content. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, they haven't. Let me really quick get caught up on other comments. Sorry, I'll come back to the K1 stuff here. Is it CAN bus over USB-C? On the if you're talking about the K1, it's CAN bus, not over USB-C. It's got four independent wires that plug into a board that's then attached to another board via some headers on it. So it's not USB-C. Actually, am I lying? I'm mixing up printers because it was definitely USB-C on the, it was USB-C on the Chitty Tech, but I took this off. I'm almost positive it's not USB-C. If we look at last week's stream when we took it apart, I think it was your typical high-low ground and 24 volts going in. I don't think it was over USB-C. I think it was like I don't know if it was a JST connector or something like that. Revo High Flow will only get you about 22 accumulators. It's okay, but not Rapido. Yeah, I know it's not as high, but it's not like if you're going for speedboat or absolute maximum nuttiness, it still wouldn't be my choice. But I think that realistically, even the standard Revo was fine for a lot of my general purpose, even fast printing. So if I'm getting another, I think they claimed up to 70%, but let's just say even 50% more output, which if you said 22 cubic millimeters, yeah, which is because when I was testing PLA, I was getting around 12-ish. And so if I'm getting 18 to 20, I'd be really happy with that. Like I wouldn't need to surpass that unless I was just doing it for fun. Like I don't think I would need more flow than that. Yeah, none of us. So my thing is oh yeah, the metal extruder. Yeah. So that was another thing somebody asked about was the gear on the extruder metal, and I was told it was metal, but I don't think that that's accurate because after that stream, Nathan was hanging out in that stream, and he went back and took apart the hot end or the tool head and did some more looking at it. I can't remember if on his it was not a metal gear. I honestly can't remember right now. They told me it was metal, but I think that they were referring to the actual gears where it meets the filament. I think again, it was some of it. It's tough. Like a lot of the companies I speak with, they speak great English, but sometimes when I'm getting into some of the technical talk, it gets a bit misunderstood as far as like what I'm talking about. I think like if I had a picture and been like, what is this part made out of? But I think they said stainless, and I'm pretty sure they weren't talking about the large gear that's exposed. I think they were potentially talking about the gears inside, but I don't know right now. Yeah, my biggest thing is all of the experience with the K1 will make it into the K1 video. But the thing is like I'm pretty understanding that things go wrong. Like it's life and things go wrong. And what's typically more important to me is how the thing that goes wrong is handled and what the thing is that goes wrong. Like in this case, it's an extruder. It seems like it's an extruder issue. It's not good. On a printer that they were selling or are selling, it should have been addressed. Certainly not good, but it's not a fire hazard, right? It's not a safety hazard. It seems like it's something that they can fix, and hopefully pretty quickly. So if they do that and they make it right with anyone that's potentially received a machine, that's actually purchased a machine, then I'm not really going to hold a lot against them. But I will say that it's at least a tick, right? Like, and each time there's a tick, like, all right, well, that's not good, and that's not good. And so I usually just try to present all of the things, the good, the bad, the happy, the sad, and then it's up to whoever's watching it to decide, do the pros outweigh the cons for me? Do the cons outweigh the pros for me? Like, I can't really decide. Everyone seems like, yes, there's things that most people I think can agree on, like reliability and speed are things that most people want, and quality. But there's a lot of other smaller things that I think are, everyone assigns their own sort of weight value to it. Like you know, for some, having a printer that's open source has a heavy weight value, while for others, like including me, it carries a weight, and it's definitely a positive point, but it's not as heavy as a weight, depending on the rest of the things that are surrounding that. So granting, but yeah, usually I just try to say, this is what happened to me. You know, you decide whether this is okay or not okay. It's not really up for me to decide, unless again there's certain scenarios like Creality. It was their Hallet one. I did a video on it where I was kind of pissed because it felt like such a beta experience, and I was not okay with that. Like, they promised a lot of things that weren't there, and I was upset. I made a video. I still think I was pretty level-headed, but I was a bit more upset than normal, and I wanted to express that this was not okay. And then months passed by, they made a bunch of changes. I had a bunch of people reach out to me asking about my updated opinion on it, which I usually don't do updated opinions. The bamboo lamp printers are different because they're less, I think, quick revisions, and so, like, well, a lot of the other printers will just throw out a completely different printer. But I did revisit the printer, and it was a night and day difference. But yeah, I agree. I unless somebody specifically reaches out saying, hey, do you want to be a beta tester, then I'm under the assumption that I'm testing a retail product, because testing out a beta unit in most instances does nothing for the end user, because that's not the machine they're going to get. That's not the experience they're going to have. So what good is it? You know, like, if they want beta testers, put beta testers on payroll, you know, like that's how I say it, at least. Simon Vez successfully prints at 2,000 millimeters a second with the Glide. Yeah, Simon is a absolute beast of a person. He's a monster. Metal Gear can transfer heat to the filament from the motor. Yeah, I might have been incorrect. I think somebody maybe, if you want to watch Nathan's video, but he did a short video where he took apart the extruder, and I'm almost positive that it was a polymer gear. I don't know what it was made out of, but I'm almost positive. It looked like metal, and it felt like metal to me, but again, I only had the teeth of it ever so exposed, so I didn't really get to see, I didn't get to hold it in my hand and see whether it was a, you know, a metal or an alloy or a polymer. The 0.6 Revo high flow I ordered today should get high 20s for ABS and ASA, 14 3D, plenty. Yeah, exactly. 1560 I'm getting now is enough as is. That's how I feel too, Linus. For me, it's going to be plenty. Like, I think speed is cool and it's fun, and if you can get it reliably, that's awesome, but I would rather go at 70% of the speed and get better quality and consistent reliability, unless I'm doing it just for the fun, you know. I think, like, so even it's the same thing with like Albert from 24/7 Printing. He built his V0 Beta 2, which is nuts. Like, that thing is absolutely just bonkers. Excuse me, is it 2:30? Okay, so 5 minutes for opening our giveaway for Polymaker filament. It's absolutely bonkers, but he doesn't normally print like that. He does that so that way you can see the extreme limits and then scale back from that to a certain degree and get reliable, consistent results for rapid prototyping and pumping out quality parts. And so that, I think, is sort of the point that I typically like to stay within. But I do think it's fun, though, just to see how quick you can push things until they sort of crash, you know, they sort of crash. I could use a magnet, but I don't know. I mean, it might not be magnetic, and there's also, because it's only sticking up so much, we could try that. I've got little, let me see here. Oh shit, I have to take, we'll wait. We'll wait, Delmar. When the new extruder comes in, I'll have to take it apart anyway, and at that point I can either get a video or give some feedback. But there's two, I forgot, there's a plastic sort of shroud over the extruder that I need to undo the screws on to even access that top part of the gear. Hey, what's up, Steve? Or Steven? Thank you for the camp video. By the way, it made me realize how simple it was to set up. Yeah, absolutely. Camp is awesome. For any printer that I'm going to be having, let's go back to this. For any printer that's running Clipper that I'm going to be having like long term, we're going to be printing with, I think that camp is almost a must at this point. Just, I mean, quicker meshes, more accurate meshes. I don't see why that wouldn't be. To me, that's like, that to me is where bed leveling should be moving forward. I don't see, why are we leveling an entire bed when we're printing a bench sheet, you know? I get it, like when you're printing out batches of parts, that's fine, but that's not the majority. I want it to be awesome and to work well, so I'm keen to get the new one in and carry on playing with it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think competition is a great thing. Bamboo, I just had my video on Bamboo after 1 year. Like, I think they lit a fire under a lot of manufacturers' asses, and it's great. But I also don't think that one manufacturer should dominate all of the space. And so I think competition is great, and having alternative options is great for those that want to be able to use, you know, different things. It's just awesome. So I want them to be successful. I mean, in all reality, I've said it before, like, I want all manufacturers to be successful. Like, my goal isn't to not have that happen. My goal is to provide feedback based on my experience, and I would love for the manufacturers to take that feedback and do actually listen and implement it. You know, that happens very infrequently, unfortunately, but the goal is to, you know, have the feedback be taken in, and hopefully if enough people say the same thing, they actually do something about it. So, okay, so the first calibration print for the ERCF finish, and this is the one that doesn't have the forced extrusion. So let me pop it off really quickly here. I'm gonna try to fire up the next one with the forced extrusion while the bed's still nice and warm. That's what takes the longest, is to get the bed up to 100 Celsius. Okay. All right, we've got our little calibration print right here. So let me get the second one going, and then we will get the giveaway open. We're doing things today. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna keep everything the same. Only thing we're doing is dropping all of the extrusion widths to be exactly 0.4. Bam, 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 bam. Slice. Print. Oh. All right. Okay, yeah, let me go back side cam, and then I will go ahead and Bamboo definitely set a new expectation and standard for speed. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, speed and quality. Any recommended 3D printer for beginners? It really depends on. Man, I missed a lot of. Sorry everyone that I missed. Okay, let me get. Let me get this giveaway posted in chat. Then I'm gonna really quick run through chat to get caught up as much as I can, and then we'll sit for a second here. So, link for giveaway is going in the chat in 3, 2, and 1. And then I'll pin it right now. This is for a spool of polymaker filament anywhere in the world. Okay, so what did I miss? Magnets. Just got 8 colors from the new dual polyterra line, and I am jealous, zombie. I'm super jealous, actually. That's awesome. Turtle says, I'm happy with the modern speeds of 160 to 300 and accelerations ranging 4K to 10K depending on features. Yeah, that is a huge leap forward. I also, man, compared to where it started and what I was printing at, like I originally would like never go above 50 millimeters a second with what was probably 500 acceleration for a very, very, very long time, years and years and years. So this is like a night and day difference. Camp for the win. What is the quietest 3D printer out at the moment? I'm looking for a printer you can sleep with. Oh, that's funny. Man, I don't actually know. what the hell have I used lately that's been quiet? Most everything hasn't been quiet. I'll let others chime in. I really don't know right now. Most of the printers I've gotten in lately have been like, you know, the Creality K1, Under 5 S1. We built the Mercury. We built the Voron. Like like they're not quiet. I don't know. I built the Flying Bear Reborn too, which to me seems like a great value. It's like it's a $500 Core XY printer that comes pretty much fully enclosed. It has a tent thing on top, but it's like begging for Clipper, and I think that this thing could be awesome. I think that's pretty quiet. I need to do more testing on it. We can actually, I don't know how long we're gonna stream today, but we can totally bring that Reborn 2 up on the desk if we want after this benchy and take a look at it. I don't know. Recommendations for quiet printers, anybody? Hey, Lee's in the house. Hey, Lee, I saw you're making progress on your Clipper reflow plate, which is awesome. Hey, Colton, do you still have the FL Sun V400? I do. It's in the garage. I can only keep, oh, there's a lot of printers in here, actually. They're just on the ground behind me. Like, in here right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 printers on the ground, and then these 2 printers. It's too much, though. I can really only keep 2 functional printers in here, 3 at one time. So it's in the garage, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm not getting rid of the V400. I got rid of the SR a while back just because I had the V400 and space is always an issue, even though we in a bigger space now. I need to keep a Delta printer. I love Deltas. Ever since I got into 3D printing, I thought they were magical. I love that they look like some kind of crazy 3-armed spider. So yeah, V400 is awesome. I would like to probably do some upgrades to it at some point. Their little, like, their hot end and extruder housing or assembly works fairly well, but it's not very serviceable, and it's also not super standard stuff. So I would like to swap it out for like a Orbiter or a Sherpa, and then potentially a different hot end as well. So that could be fun at some point. I've been meaning to install Camp, just keep forgetting and only remember after I start my next print. Any recommendation for 3D printer for beginners? It depends. It depends. So budget and goal are really important. I mean, honestly, I would say that the easiest printer to use today for the price is the P1P, realistically. Like, it just works so well and it's so easy. But $700 is a lot for a lot of people, and I understand that. And a beginner, that might be way too much. So budget's really important. And again, your goal for getting a 3D printer, like, do you want to tinker? Is it for work stuff? Like, there's a lot of other factors. Is there size requirements? Do you need dual extrusion? Most people don't. So more questions I would need to ask to sort of kind of narrow that down. I never heard of Camp. You didn't see the video I did, Lisa, on the Clipper adaptive mesh and purging? Okay, I'm scooting down and try to catch up. SV06, duh, SV06, yeah, I am a goofball. SV06 is a really solid beginner printer. Yep, even not a beginner printer, SV06 is solid. I don't know why I didn't think of that. SV06, I like the SV06 over the SV06 Plus. I'm also not crazy about the SV07. They just did some, like, I'm not really a big fan of a ton of like plastic bulkiness, which is ironic because, hello, but not a huge fan of that. Also not a fan that they went to roller wheels again from linear rods. So to me, the SV06 is like the cream of the recent crop that they've released. The SV06 Plus has some benefits as well. I know that Zombie has it, but I was pretty much the same as the macro I was using. The purge macro is nice though. Yeah, if you're going to swap it over to Clipper, then the Plus is probably fine as well. But the default firmware for the Plus, at least when I tested it out, which I think it's been updated a little bit, was kind of not good. There just was some not good stuff with the firmware. So I watched all your videos. I don't remember that one. Yeah, it was just a few weeks ago, like maybe a month and a half ago, on the Mercury 1.1. It was the one where I basically show installing essentially just Clipper macros, and it uses the exclude object module and your labeled objects in your slicer to sort of
generate a map of the area you'll actually be printing on. And so before each print, instead of doing like a 5x5 mesh of your entire build plate, it does a really targeted mesh that's within the parameters of where you'll actually be printing. So your meshes are more dense, so they're more accurate, and they're quicker because you don't need to do a 5x5 mesh on something like a benchy, right? Like I think it does a 3x2 or something like that, which is still way overkill. But yeah, definitely check it out, Lisa. It's awesome. Regarding the fan, almost all my printers are built into cabinets with glass doors or in my enclosures, so whether the fan makes little noise has no meaning. Yeah. I'm not the best Neptune 3 versus SVO6. I haven't used the Neptune 3, so I know a lot of people like I think it's the 3 Pros, right? I think that's the one that's been making its round. The things I like better about the SVO6 is you've got the planetary geared direct drive bimetal hot end that's all metal, while the Neptune's not all metal. I need to have a sip of water. I probably need to get water at some point here. Hold on. What the heck was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm also not usually the best judge of whether a printer is loud or not, because back when I started printing, there wasn't trinamic drivers. Like it was just the A4988s, if I'm not mistaken. It was like one of the earlier drivers, the Palulu style, I remember, with the ramps boards, and the motion system of the printers were like screaming at you. Like it was so loud. And I slept in a room with a bunch of them. So it just never, the noise doesn't really bug me that much. The real issue I have with noise is because I do video work. I can't do, even with quiet printers, I really can't do much video work, which is a bummer. Oh, so that's kind of cool too. You can see, oh, both of them. You've got Anker, oh, can you see? Oh. Ah! Bamboo and Anker apps both saying that prints were completed. You can't really see that. Okay, so let's take a look at these two. These are the exact same G code. The only difference is that we tightened the collet, or like there was no retention clip, so that was moving up and down. Thank you to whoever saw that. I did not. And so let's see if we can somehow look at, what did I do? Let's look at these side by side. Okay, so this is the one that didn't have the retention. Can I, actually, one second here. I'm going to try to make it so the depth of field isn't as shallow so we can actually see these. Okay, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I have no idea why that big line was on the first one, but big line's gone, which is good. We still have this bit right here, which I'm honestly thinking is cooling related. It's near where the largest overhang is on the benchy, and so it looks about the same, maybe slightly better on the second one that we printed. Let's see, on the back. Hey, thank you. I can't see SL. I don't know. It doesn't tell me names. Thank you very much for the merch purchase. I hope you enjoy your t-shirt. Sorry, let me get these in focus again. So which one's the original? So this is the original, right side, and this is the new one. Similar, but I would argue that the new one does look a little bit better than the first one, but yeah, I would, maybe someone let me know. And then let's go from the top. There's definitely, let's see. I don't think it's picking up. Okay, let's go over here. Let's do this. So I don't know how well you can see it, but there's less stringing on this one that had the retention clip in place. So it did affect stringing a little bit. You can see a little bit of stringing right there, like on the side. There's none of that on this one. Oh, I took the screw out of the cover. That is funny. That is probably what caused it. That's probably what caused it. Yeah, I mean, though, for being, you know, sub 30-minute benches on a bed slinger that I haven't tuned anything with, granted, there's not a whole lot you can tune with this, other than slicer stuff, it's really not bad. Like, it's pretty impressive if you ask me. I think it is.
That's actually really funny though. I have a feeling that you're right. When I was screwing around with the, I have a feeling that the secondary screw down here that I was playing around with is probably one of the either belt tensioning screws or something to do with the motor. So you're right. That's probably what caused that line. It wasn't the printer. It was user error. So, do we want to take a look at the Flying Bear? I don't know if we'll do a whole lot with it. I need to put some, so something interesting, and I'm really curious about this, is that generally speaking, Noctua doesn't make any fans sufficient for toolhead use yet. Yeah, Noctua is supposed to be releasing 24-volt fans, though. I saw that Alan Mandic had posted that they have a timeline on their website, and 24-volt fans are part of it. I still don't know that they're going to be good enough to use for hot ends. Like, I don't know if they'll move enough air, but it should make them at least easier to use for things like boards, you know, controller cooling or power supply cooling or stuff like that. Bears can fly, yes. It was because it happened at the same time you were messing around with the screws back there. Yeah, no, you're completely right. That's absolutely what it was. So my understanding has always been that on a lead screw, you only want it to be restricted or basically attached at one end. Like the other end should be free floating. That's always been my understanding. However, I noticed that on the KP3S snake oil, part of the upgrades are that it adds a bearing that sort of constricts the lead screw at the top. And also, on the Flying Bear, both of the lead screws on the bed have bearings at the top that constrict it. So it can still spin, it's not gripped, it can still rotate, but it can't shift left to right. And without it, it seems like the Z-axis has more imperfections. So my question is, what is everyone else's opinion about that, and what have you heard? Oh, video's choppy? Oh yeah, it is choppy. No, it shows red. No! Depends on the coupler it has. How do you do this? 12 volt overvolting on the 50/50 panel push more air? Do you buy a... I've never done that. I've never used 12 volt fans on 24 volt systems. Yeah, I'm looking at the stream. The internet's not looking so hot right now. That sucks. Okay, now it's yellow. Now it's red. Now it's yellow. Now it's orange. Lead screws that aren't bent should theoretically have less issue with wobble if constrained at top. Just guessing. Okay. Depends on the coupler. With an Oldham coupling or wobble X, you want it constrained on both ends, but without... Interesting, because okay, we're green again. The Flying Bear has a unique coupler, so I wonder if that's why. I took it off thinking it didn't need to be constrained, but I think it's causing issues. I should have flipped the switch. Okay, let's take a look at the Flying Bear. It's a big bear. I got this in a while ago, actually. And I think hardware-wise, it's an incredible value, but I think that it needs clipper badly. So let's move this. Oh, all right. This will be fun. Dear God. Okay. Oh no, 1 second. Okay. All right. Yeah, this thing is a absolute monster. So this is probably the most, 1 second here. This machine is probably the best in terms of hardware to dollar that I've seen in a long time. And I will explain why. Let's take this off. So it comes with a, oh geez. 1 sec, y'all. There's a lot happening right now. Move my stool. Yeah, this thing is, this thing is huge. So again, I won't be able to see chat as well for a sec here, but we've got this tent thing on top, which just comes off if you want it and folds down, but that fully encloses it because you've got panels on all the other sides. So that's pretty cool. I don't really love this. I think that I will at some point end up using acrylic to make a top hat of sorts for it. But again, for a quick pop up, pop down, it works. The price on this is right around $500, which for the size of this thing seems nuts to me. Flying bear. I'm just shocked that I haven't seen more on this printer. Like I know, like right now, this is a $469 printer, and from a hardware perspective, to me that's nuts. So I have an extruder from one of those. Yes. So again, fully enclosed. We've got. I don't love the panels on the front. The biggest thing I don't like about them is, I think it's. Oh, okay. No, it's these guys. So these. Let's just get. We're just gonna walk around it. We're gonna. Need a remote to change scenes. There we go. Okay. So this is our. Also, if you haven't signed up for the giveaway, it's in chat, do that. And if you haven't hit the like button, do that. So it's a small detail. We have autofocus on, don't we? Of course we do. That's why I can't control you. So there's magnets that hold the doors closed, right? There's one here and there's one up top. And it uses what are basically tiny little screws and a small nut, but they don't tighten fully. Like, so I don't know how well you can see it, but they're loose. Like maybe you can hear it. I don't know. I have the noise cancel on, but. And so they rattle a bit, and it's a really easy fix. Like I just need to place something else here, either just put an actual magnet in here, go with a smaller bolt, or just, you know, something different. But I don't love that. Very small detail in my opinion, really. But again, little nitpick. The things that are rad about this is that for the bed, oh crap. Can I zoom out? Yes. Okay, so we have pretty beefy bed. Bed is AC, so it's an AC heated bed. I don't love that it's glass. I don't love that it's glass and that the bed is actually attached to the glass. If I had it my way, like if I wanted to mod this thing, I would probably get like a mix six bed customized for this. Yeah, hot glue. Yeah, I get that, right, Turtle? Sometimes I do that where I like overcomplicate solutions. Some glue would totally fix it. But yeah, it's got what I believe is a steel frame on the bed, so it's very, very rigid. An AC bed with some insulation down below. Again, it's like that ultra base style glass, and I just wish that they had gone with aluminum instead. Not the end of the world. They have their special couplers, which again I think is why they probably had it constrained, and I need to reinstall the pieces I removed. But these are the couplers that they've got on here, both on this side and the other side. They talk about them a bit on their website. I haven't looked into them very, very much yet. But yes, for the Z, we've got dual motors, so you can tram the bed. You've got pretty beefy linear rods and linear bearings, which is nice. I'm not upset by that. For our, and also there's like no plastic in this. Like it's pretty much all metal. Like the frame itself is pretty thick extrusions. They're sort of custom, so I don't know exactly. I think they're mostly like 40/20s, if not even slightly beefier in some areas. But yeah, so solid frame, and then this is, I think a lot of this, like these panels are sheet metal panels, so not quite as rigid, but the frame itself is all aluminum, which again is a plus. Looks like the trunk sticks, but I should have been, yeah. And the screen, again, it's running Marlin, so you've got, let's power it on actually, why not? Where the hell is it's on this side. Yep. So it has a touchscreen that has Wi-Fi. Like you can use Cura to upload directly to it, although it's really slow. I'm pretty sure it's an ESP32 based module. Why are we not powering on? Did I? Okay, also, one second. Oh, it was already gonna power on. So yeah, it's running Marlin, which this thing is begging for a clipper. It is begging for clipper. Yeah, $469 to me is nuts for, just from a hardware perspective, right? Like that seems like such a deal.
So it has this little kind of like custom touchscreen that's okay. In my opinion, rip this out, install clipper screen, and profit. There's actually, I found somebody modded the gantry on this to have a clicky probe, so I saved the files for that as well. But yeah, so it's a dual gear, so you got 2 fans left and right side, plus a heatsink fan. The block on it, I think, is similar to a V6. It looks kind of a bit bigger. It almost reminds me of what we just looked at on the AnkerMake. It might be slightly larger. I have to look at the nozzles. And then the extruder on it, which I haven't really played around with, is kind of cool looking. Let's see, can I show you guys this? Maybe if I bring it further back like this and I drop you guys down like this. Yeah, that'll work. Let's get you in focus. So the extruder, it's a direct drive extruder system as well. We've got a reverse Voron with a filament runout sensor, but it's got beefy gears on both sides of it. Like it's got, in my opinion, sort of like LGX style gears on both sides, which is awesome. Linear rails, Core XY, beefy belts too. These are not standard. These are maybe 9mm belts. It's got a pancake motor on the back of it. Yeah, I don't know what else. Yeah, from a hardware perspective, as I've been building this thing, or as I had this thing when I was building it, I was pretty blown away. I think that some of the biggest things holding it back is that it needs input shaping, and it needs clipper. And I think that it would totally kick butt. Lollipop? Oh, wait, Lollipop, $25, laugh out loud. What? Yeah, the clear window is pretty cool. But yeah, I printed a few things on it, and I actually immediately removed the gears or the bearings from the top of the lead screws. And I wish I hadn't done that. Because if you look at this is what's been happening. Actually, I don't know if this shows it quite well. Let me see if I focus. There's been some issues primarily in Z. Like you can see, like it's kind of nasty actually. And I think that that's actually related to me removing the, removing those 2 bearings that came attached to the lead screws. Here's some cubes that I ran. Oops, shit. Let me see if I can see it. Can't see it all that well. But if you look at it from an angle, you can kind of see that the layers just aren't stacked perfectly on top of each other. So I need to reinstall, again, I need to reinstall those bearings and see, basically just reprint the same G-code and see what difference it makes. They did also send over, because I noticed that I didn't really see any profiles for it, which was kind of the biggest bummer, was that there was no profiles available. Like when you buy this thing, they give you instructions to basically use a profile for a different printer that they sell and to change the work area. But the thing that doesn't make sense is the machine they're having you use a profile off of has a Bowden extruder. So like changing the size isn't gonna fix the retraction differences and whatever else needs to be different. So, but yeah, this is the Reborn 2, and it's got so much potential inside of it, and I really want to clipper screen it, clipper it, input shaper it, potentially swap the bed, maybe not, maybe just keep it as the glass. But I just think that like a flex plate would be awesome. Maybe even putting a flex plate on top of this glass, because that might actually be the way, that might be the move. Because normally you would have the AC bed attached to a like aluminum mix 6 plate, which would be about this thick, and then it would transfer the heat to your flex plate system. But since this bypasses that, it's just AC bed to glass that's roughly thick, and that'll keep it hopefully flat, relatively flat. Maybe putting the flex plate system directly on top of this would be the way to do it. It looks like they have some springs in the Z coupler, so they might need the bearings on top. Did you look at the I wish I won't be able to show you guys. So there's definitely so many ideas and thoughts in my head that I can't even get words out right now. Okay, so on the top of both of these, come on. So much happening right now. Okay, Can we see? Of course we can't. We're just barely too short. Maybe if I go like this. Okay. So, we have got anti-backlash on both. There's springs on left side, springs on right side, and then down below, again, they have these sort of unique couplers that I think they said like patent pending or something along those lines. I've never seen anything like these. They're I mean, they're just injection molded bright orange, but if you look on their website, I'm pretty sure they show more of an image of it. Let's see. 4 minutes, and we're gonna do the drawing for the giveaway. There's no Z probe, John. So that's a big thing that they're missing is a Z probe. If I remember how this levels, I think I just did like the 4-corner piece of paper. I'm almost positive. So if we go Clipper, we're definitely going to be installing Clicky because someone already made a mount for it. So basically just be printing it out, bolting it on, and then configuring it in the firmware. I bet I'd get a Wham Bam PX plate for it. Yeah. I got my CNC Sherpa. Oh, nice. Yeah, maybe I'll do that, Ted. Maybe I'll order that from Wham Bam then. Is there a thermal fuse in the bed, like 135? That's a great question. That's a great question. Let's quickly look at where is the okay, 10mm belts. Where is silicone AC bed? Yeah, so here we go. Patented, not designed. So there is interesting. So yeah, it looks like we saw this. This is the part sticking up top, and this is the part sticking out down below. So there's what looks like a brass piece inside, and then I don't know if these are symbolizing shake or if these are saying that there's some kind of like 4-piece spring that allows it to shift around left and right. But if that's the case, then that would make sense that if it's got the ability to wiggle down here, you would probably want something on the top, keeping the bed from being able to just wiggle around. So, but TMC 2209s as well. So, you know, silent drivers. Yeah, I don't think it's patented either. I didn't realize that it said actually patented. So is there any metal at all? How is the bed mounted? The bed is... Yeah, no, there is metal. I mean, this is metal running through here. Oh, you're saying how is the bed mounted, like frame-wise? Yeah. Watch, let's, I can lower it so we can take a look at it. Or maybe it's easier if I raise it. That's a great question. How the hell did they do that with the glass? Because they have, let me see if I bring the light around and drop it down. If we can get light up the inside of this for you guys. So there's like bolts coming out of the, let's see if I go like this. So it looks like, because there's definitely springs. So you've got bolts coming out of the glass. How they did that I don't really know. I actually have no idea how they did that. It's interesting. But yeah, it looks like there's actually bolts coming through. So it's all attached to this, which I think is a steel frame, which makes it's really rigid. But yeah, I don't exactly know how they got the bolts in like the manufacturing process to get the bolts to stick through the glass like that. I mean, I assume that there's some, I would assume they're not just adhesive to the bottom. But I really don't know. I don't know how they did that. The screws are probably epoxy to the glass to large pad, same as this side. Oh, okay, then maybe they are. Maybe they are just epoxied. Yeah, Wobble X's are expensive. I looked I looked on, I think it's Mello, right, that partnered up and made them. Hey, what's up, Sun Turtle? Yeah, so I think game plan is, again, attach the, let me see if I can find those pieces. I think they're right here. Yeah, so I've got them right here. I can show you guys. This is what was installed on the top initially. It's just this. Let's see. So this basically bolts underneath the extrusion, underneath the rail right here, and then it goes around the top. And so there's a set screw that you attach to, there's a set screw that basically holds the bearing in place, like the bearing body, so it can't slide out. And then this just allows the lead screw to spin, but doesn't allow it to move left or right from the top. So I need to reinstall these. I'm really kind of bummed because where are we moving the whole? I'm bummed because normally, nearly always, when I'm reviewing a printer, I don't mod it while I'm reviewing it because it doesn't really make sense. But this printer, to me, like, is just begging to be modded. Like, it just is made for Clipper and made for, you know, having some kind of auto bed leveling set up for it. I asked them about it because that was sort of my biggest confusion, was like, you guys have this big Core XY that seems like it's got a pretty impressive hardware set. Like, why aren't you guys at least throwing on like a clone or some kind of inductive probe or a clone BL Touch, like the 3D Touch or whatever? So, I don't know. I am sweating though, it is hot. It hadn't used the rounded extrusion. I'd put a RatRig XY system on it. I don't know what that is, the RatRig XY system. Got 3 Wobble X coming for my Trident, nice. The Wobble X requires, though, a little bit of customization, right? Like basically where you bolt it onto. You can't just, it doesn't just float. It needs to bolt onto a printed part. So I think I saw that, like, right now you can attach it to probably Voron, RatRig, and the VZBot, but I think there's some work that needs to be done as far as modeling it for specific motor mounting spots. There's a RatRig EVA and Voron. There's a RatRig EVA and Voron motion system. Okay, yeah, let's do the drawing. If you have not entered in, this is your 2-minute warning. I'm gonna pull it in 1 minute, and then I'll give you 1 final minute to fill it out. And then we're gonna do our drawing for Polymaker Filament. Also, we finished this second calibration piece. Okay, so I'm gonna write, do I have a Sharpie somewhere? How do I not? Oh, I do, okay. So we're just gonna write, on one of the calibration tests, why does it look so bright all of a sudden? What did I do? What have I done? I think that I probably, see if that changes it. It feels so bright. EVA 3 is the hot end. Yeah, the EVA 3, I know that that's the hot end. I just didn't know that there was, like, I mean, I know RatRig's Core XY motion system, at least if you're on the V minion, but I didn't know there was certain specs about the motion system on it. Okay, so I'm just gonna write 0.4 on the bottom of this one to represent the forced 0.4 extrusion. Looks terrible, but my writing looks terrible, not the... I have 2 on my Mercury 1. You have 2 of the Wobble X's? Okay, I'm removing the link now. In my opinion, if you're already printing an adapter piece for the Wobble X, you should just print the Oldham coupling first and see if they fix the wobble issue. Designs exist for almost every printer. I have not seen the Oldham coupler very much other than recently. You can purchase them, right, too? Maybe I have. I think I've seen them in brass, actually. Is it better? I don't know. How well do the printed versions perform? I guess I'm going to try it on the KP3S snake oil. Why hasn't Sobel got customer technical support? They should have both of those things. I just don't think it's probably all that great. I've got to do the tuning of my V-core and the filament. I keep putting it off because of ADHD. Wallbox has an 8mm lead screw option, and there's a lot of files available for different printers. It comes with the hardware you insert into the printed part. Gotcha, okay. You can get it with a PEI bed. Oh, you can get this with a PEI bed? I would like to buy a Sobel 6, but can't get a hold of the company. That's weird. I have no idea, Turtle. I have no idea the answer to that. Okay, all right. So we've got, hey, 126 viewers, 100 likes. Yay! Thank you everybody that liked. I appreciate it. Yay, we hit it. Okay, so I am going to download, how many entries do we have? Probably over 100. Yeah, 120, 119. All right, so whoever's in is in. If you're not in, sorry. Download all responses, cool. Give me 1 second here to do this. I'm glad I put shorts on for the stream. I don't get it, like, it's probably the coffee or the lights or something, but every time we stream, like, I get hot, like really hot. Right, let's see. Okay, should be 119 people here. And we have got 119. Peaceful Discord was the last person to get in. All right. Here we go, to the wheel. That's awesome. Thanks for letting me know, Salty. I'll have to check that out. Are those 8mm or 10mm Z-rods? The smooth rods? That's a good question. We'll do one last little check here before we do the giveaway. Got my calipers right here. Let's see. Can I do? There's so much crap. These are 10. These are 10 mil. 4 10mm rods. Oh wait, where's my? There we are. All right. So, like I'm not even here, like in the frame, and there's the printer on the ground here. Here we go. So, for anybody that hasn't been to stream before, welcome. And quick explanation. So, Polymaker is incredible. They sponsor our stream. They allow us every single week to give away a spool of filament globally, so anywhere in the world. For US and Canada, you end up getting a gift card that covers all standard spools basically, and you can apply it towards a any spool, even like a carbon spool that you can pay the difference of if you want to go that route. Or anywhere else in the world can get PLA, ABS, ASA, or PETG, just not any of the like carbon glass, like none of the exotic stuff. After the stream ends tonight, I will email whoever is the winner. If you have not received an email, today's Wednesday, by Friday, please email me or poke me. Usually it's not the case, but I am flawed and I have forgotten a few times, and I apologize for that. I think that's it. Yeah, as always, thank you to Polymaker for allowing us to do this. They are an awesome company, a huge supporter of lots of channels, 3D printing as a whole, lots of cool things. If you have not tried out their filament and you're interested in trying it out, there's a link in the description that you can check them out. It also does support the channel and lets them know that some people are going over there and checking out their great filament. So on that note, we will shuffle. It's the 17th. Jackson had to go to the doctor's on Friday for his 2-month checkup and had to get a bunch, not a bunch of shots, but like 2 shots that were a bunch of things combined up, and it was super sad, not fun experience. But he now weighs 12 pounds 9 ounces, up almost 6 pounds from birth in 2 months. He was 7 pounds when he was born. So let's go ahead and shuffle it. We'll do 12 shuffles for his 12 pounds. So here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Good luck, everybody. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, blast off. Hey, Mike 4D.
I promise, I promise it wasn't because you complimented the stream earlier. Congratulations, that's awesome. Let me go here. Let's give you some confetti and a little bit of air horn. We're having chicken for dinner, but pizza does sound good right now, so we'll do a little bit of pizza. Congratulations, Mike. So yeah, I will send you an email later tonight with the information, basically the form from Polymaker that you'll fill out, and then you can get some awesomeness. Yeah, I think we're going to end it pretty soon here. I'm very hot. I don't know why, and I feel like I need to just chill out for a little bit. We did pretty much what I wanted to do today, which, well, not really. I wanted to build the Voron, start building the Voron, but we got to check out the AnkerMake. We checked out this flying bear that I'm gonna put on the ground so I can see all your chat again. Hold on. Okay, slippery rails. Okay. Oh, I wish it had handles. That is something that I could use as handles. There we go. So the linear rails are right on top, so when I grabbed it, I grabbed just like greasy rails. That was terrifying. Let's see. Someone should also get these spare parts inaccessible in EU and other stores, so I don't understand they miss a lot of sales. Yeah, a lot of man. One of my complaints and one of my I'm gonna sit. Let's sit for a little while. One of my positive feedbacks for Bamboo was that they said they would have spare parts available. And again, I don't know. I can't speak for the rest of the world, but in the U.S. they have had most all parts available, and they've been quite inexpensive. And one of my complaints about the Snapmaker J1 was that it's a lot of proprietary parts, and their web shop only has beds, which it is a kind of unique bed, so it's good that they have that, and hot ends. But I wish they would have things like breakout boards, ribbon cable, stuff like that, because even if most don't need it, if I'm buying something and it's got a lot of proprietary hardware, I would love to buy some cheap parts that may be needed, like ribbon cables for the moving for the tool heads. I would absolutely buy like 4 of those just to have, or small breakout boards. Like, you know, just if you're spending that printer is $12.99, and if you're spending that kind of money, I think that most people would gladly spend an extra $100 on, you know, some ribbon cables and boards just to have if and when they need them. So there's still only 20 likes. Only 20 likes? Was there only 20 likes? No, that doesn't sound right. No, there's 122 likes. I was like, that doesn't sound right. So yeah, game plan for stream stuff is 2.4. Everybody cross your fingers and toes. Let's hope that FedEx figures out what's going on with the 2.4. It was supposed to get delivered yesterday. It's in Utah, which is a neighboring state, and there's been no movement in like 48 hours now. And so I'm hoping that it just shows up. I'm hoping it just shows up. So hopefully it'll be here, you know, in the next 2 days here, and we start at 2.4 next week. I don't even want to say otherwise, because I don't want to put that out there. That's what's going to happen. We're going to start the 2.4 next week, and I'm super excited. We're going to build it again completely stock as far as what the Rev C includes, so the Nevermore and the Clicky, and that's what I'll use for the long video. And then after that's done, we will do CAN bus. I've got the Big Tree Tech Switchwire EBB board, so we'll do that. We'll do Voron tap instead of Clicky, and whatever other things I've determined by that point might be useful. So it'll be fun. Yeah, is that what happened, Alien? You called it and pretended to be me and then rerouted it? If I would buy all additional hardware for the printer. They miss a lot of sale. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people, like, honestly, I think that a lot of companies, if they sold a printer and they sold a maintenance kit, like, you know, like even an Ender, right? Like if they sold a maintenance kit that came with extra roller wheels, extra heater cartridge, thermistor, whatever else, I think a lot of people buy it for most printers. But again, especially, I guess the difference is with some of the printers, the stuff is quite standard.
so it's not as big of a deal when you can go on Amazon and get it in 48 hours. But for the printers that are not, which seems to be the way that a lot of things are probably going to be going, if we want, I have a feeling that at some point here, we're going to see budget Core XY printers that are more Voron-esque in that they're using standard components like extrusions, but because right now a lot of these companies are racing against Bamboo, and we've got the K1, which looking at the K1, it's not very, it's very proprietary. I guess that's easier to go that route. The Chitty was the same way, so I have a feeling that for a while that's what we're going to be seeing, and I'm personally okay with that as long as the parts are available. And I don't trust being told they'll be available. I need to see that they're available, and I want to be able to order them day one if possible. You know, so I think that's my biggest caution to anybody buying any of these new printers that are quite custom is spare parts, because you cannot repair them. I mean, you can if you're clever. I don't even want to use the word clever enough. If you're stubborn enough, right? Like you can strip boards out and completely hack things up. But if you want to keep things non-hacky, you need those parts to be able to repair them yourself. I guess what I'm getting at. Social engineering. Clipper screen, Victortech TFT or TFT43. Are you asking for your printer? Don't print out tap parts too far out from the build. They changed to a new RC on me midway through doing a rebuild, and now I have to print a bunch of parts again. Oof. Okay, yeah, good to know. I saw that they did. Someone messaged me a few days ago actually saying that they made some pretty big changes. W Sebastian, the print it forward Voron person that did the parts for my 2.4. I've been chatting with him a bit, and he did say that he's been printing them out of polycarbonate carbon fiber, and if I wanted a set, he would print them. So maybe I'll go that route, but that's good to know. I did see that the other day, and I know that if I had printed them out and they came out with a new version, I'd have a hard time not tearing it down and swapping it over again. And it sounded, I didn't look at the changelog, but it sounded like there were some pretty nice quality of life improvements on it. You can't hack the Bamboo printers. To an extent you can. I mean, like my first printer was the DaVinci 1.0, and that was pretty proprietary. And I stripped it down to just motion system and power supply and some electronics, but I ripped out the board. So like the board was completely gone, threw in my own board. So then I had control over things. But then again, like there's custom breakout boards that you wouldn't be able to use. So you would have to use your own boards. But yeah, I think that if somebody had the time and wanted to, they could absolutely gut a Bamboo P1P, swap the board out in the back for like a big Tech board, swap out the tool head for a very similar tool head actually, but go with CAN bus standard, like Big Tech CAN bus instead of their CAN bus board, and make a lot of it work. Like you can mod the Bamboo, but you can't mod it without doing like harvest mod. Like you can't do like little mods. You have to like really gut the thing. So it's definitely not intended to. It's not intended to be. I mean, I kind of complained a little bit about my my experience swapping out the bed cable on the X1 Carbon the other day. It took me, I mean, again, was I powering through it? No, I had parents in town and I was recording it, but it was like a 2-hour-ish process to repair, to just swap out one cable. And that was because you had to remove back panel, you had to remove side panel, you had to depin a plug, you had to remove some adhesive. It was like 40 screws. That thing is built like a freaking tank. Like there's just so many screws. And so like, it was not a fun experience. I'm glad I was able to do it, and that, you know, the cable itself was $4, but man, if someone said like, hey, you know, like I wouldn't even want to be paid to do that. Like it's just not fun. It wasn't a fun experience. So I would love to see their next gen be a little bit more repairable if possible. Even just a little bit, just make things a little bit more accessible, you know. Ribsy comes, okay, 4.3 inch screen. I'm still running, I think, revision 1 tap parts. Hey, what's up, Major Gamer? Is there any benefit if I buy a Revo high flow nozzle only, not the heater for my Voron? I believe so. I do think that you would still benefit from. I do think that you'd still benefit from more flow, because if you think about it, like if they're using, it's a similar type of system to what the CHB tape. What am I thinking of? The Bondtech CHT. With the CHT nozzles, most of the time you're just throwing them onto your existing hot end without swapping out the heater cartridge to a beefier one, and you still get increased flow. So yeah, I think that absolutely, if you do the nozzle on its own, you would still get increased flow. I think that having the ability to pump more heat faster probably allows you to get even better speeds and heat up things quicker. But yeah, I do think that even just going with a high flow nozzle, you would see flow gains. I don't see how you wouldn't. Because again, with the Bondtech CHT, most of the time you're not upgrading your heater cartridge when you upgrade the nozzle. You're just throwing the nozzle in and getting those again, increased performance. So we're not printing. We printed out. So what have we done today? We printed out a couple benchies. One looked terrible because of mostly me, really, and one looked okay. We're trying to see how fast we can get the Anker to go. We printed out 2 different parts. These are the calibration. These are the calibration parts for the Enraged Rabbit carrot feeder. We did one with my standard, or the built-in layer width settings in Orca Slicer, and one with a forced point for extrusion. I've never done forced point for, but it does call for it. So we're gonna see how the nut, how the magnet, how all the parts fit in, and decide which one we're going to go with. We're going to reprint all the parts for the ERCF in pop pink and black ASA from Polymaker. I was using the rigid green, but you can't get this stuff anymore, and it's the accent color for my switch wire. So I want to keep it. I want to keep it for switch wire parts for now, and for some reason, I don't know if there's something in this formulation or the color. It's a bit more of a translucent ABS versus kind of the opaqueness I'm used to. And it seems to be breaking easier on some of the fragile ERCF parts than the Polymaker Gold ASA or ABS that I tried. So I don't know what's up with that, but I just don't want to use it for the ERCF. So we're going to reprint. Get on that Swatch Truck Garage, just posted it on printables. Okay. I checked your printables actually over the weekend because I was trying to see. I downloaded your Swatch Truck. I ended up getting it from your Discord where you messaged me, but it was too long for the test I was trying to do. I think I got it down to like 6.5 hours, but it was a little bit too long. Good night, everyone. Can't keep my eyes open. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Mike. Congratulations again. You'll wake up to an email in your inbox for the Polymaker giveaway, so be on the lookout for that. I think Bamboo will improve a lot in their next new printer. You have to remember they're pretty new to printers, and looking at what they did so far, I think they will get much better. I agree with that. Also, I don't know how it would benefit the Bamboo printer to hack them. You're buying also the ecosystem. No, I agree. I am happy with the Bamboo printers. I think that they've listened to feedback. They've done. I mean, if you watch my Saturday's video, the amount of updates they've done, like. The things that they've said they've done, like they've put their money where their mouth is so far. They've said that they would make things better, and they have done that. There's been like almost double digits on slicer, firmware, and app updates across the board since launch. There's been all sorts of improvements. Again, they're not perfect, but I do think that they will continue to try to do their best, and agreed that a huge benefit of using them is that you're in their ecosystem. If you want hacky or moddy, like there's so many other options out there. Why go with something that's so closed up? You know, it's just a different journey, I guess. I don't know. You need to print a few enraged the carrot patches. So I don't know. I think the ERCF is probably going to go onto the Voron switch wire. And so I'm curious as to how I'm going to mount all the carrot patches. My biggest concern with almost any MMU system is the buffering system. The AMS is just like chef kiss as far as they have it integrated into this little hub, it would be super cool if somebody took that concept and made it open source. Like, again, it doesn't have to be a copy of the ERCF, but some sort of hub system that has an MCU with a bunch of macros that then ties to a main board, like a Pi that's running Clipper. And so on filament changes, you have some sort of a rotary system that turns the spool for you. Because right now we're basically using like manual system or spring systems, so that way when it backtracks, it's rolling the filament. But they're using, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's motor/servo system that just really solves a lot of issues. So that my biggest concern with the ERCF or the TradRack, that sounds right, is the filament buffer system. That seems to be one of the hardest parts. I keep seeing some people have a lot of problems and others have none at all. Yeah, me too. It's a mixed bag. I've seen really both sides of it. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, the guy that developed the Hydra has already figured out how to sort of redo the internals of it to make that even better. So take the Hydra, you know, slap some form of open source variant of electronics, and I think the most time will probably be designing the macros that, you know, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4. Even if you can't do a hub where you, like, they have the hub, right, with its 16, even like having the ability to do 4 would be sick. Like, that's a lot for most people, just consistently printing with 4 different spools or 4 different colors. For Slayer, good stream, have a great rest. Hey, thank you very much. There's a mod to mount them on rep racks. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I do have rep racks up there. So that's cool. So maybe this is where it goes. Maybe the second cube gets moved. I still want to do some more mods or I want to swap out the tool head on the second cube as well. So we'll see. I think we're gonna call it. It's kind of a shorter stream today. I mean, it was 2.5 hours, not super short, but it was fun. It was fun playing around with the AnkerMake. I'm gonna have a video coming out on that. You kind of have seen and heard my thoughts on it today. I don't think they're going to change very much between now and the final review of it. It is sort of what it is. Unless they're like, yeah, we're slashing prices and here's the all metal hot, and then I'd be like, but I'm not, you know, being realistic, I don't see that happening. I think it's a dream. And then yeah, the Flying Bear, I will get those bearings put back on the lead screws, and hopefully that'll fix the issue with the inconsistencies in the Z, which kind of makes sense. Again, if it has the ability to wobble in all directions, then it needs to be rigid on the top. And so hopefully that'll fix the issue. And I goofed up by removing it. I shouldn't have done that. I should have printed with it as is. That's what I get. But yeah, everyone, again, keep your fingers crossed that 2.4 shows up so I can schedule the stream for next Wednesday. And thank you all for being awesome. I had a fun day. It was actually a chill stream. I mean, I moved around a lot. I got my exercise in, but nothing. So it's not over yet, so let's knock on wood. But like, nothing really bad happened. We all had fun, and I got to rant for a little bit. So it was definitely a nice switch up. So again, thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate everybody that commented, liked, donations, memberships, all of it. I really appreciate it all. And we'll do this again, same time and same place next week. Right? Yeah, we'll do that. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your nights, and put the ERCF on the second. I could. I could. The second needs a new extruder and hot end. The BMG clone and the Volcano clone is just meh. I'm thinking about installing the BQ Revo system on there. I think that would be a really sweet upgrade. And I believe it has the reverse Bowden slot, so it would actually work quite well with the ERCF. So maybe we will do that. So, all right, y'all. Take care, everybody. Thanks again.